Hi, I'm Pat, the owner of the Sewing Studio, and today I wanted to give you a sneak peek into one of my favorite classes, one of 4 classes that you get when you purchase a Dream or Destiny machine from us. I really love this class because it features some of the things that I love, some of the features that I love about this machine. This is called the zipped up case. And it was designed by Lynn, one of our educators and specialists in our machine department. And as you can see, you can open it up and it's got really handy pockets. You're learning to stitch with vinyl. You're learning to put in zippers. When you close it up, I just love the outside of this bag. The outside is made using twin needles and using the scanning feature to embellish the center squares of the grid that you create using the features on this machine. And I'm just going to show you a couple of those features. Okay, so here I am working on the partially completed, the top part of the bag. And I'm doing my decorative stitching. I have twin needles in the machine. A lot of you have probably never used twin needles, so this is the perfect class to learn how to use them. So I've selected a slightly wavy decorative stitch. Remember that using twin needles, you need to be very careful that you stay within the opening so your needles don't swing and hit, and you could possibly break a needle. So this is a great class for those of you who have never used a twin needle. Okay, the other feature that I'm using here, and I'm hoping that you can see it, is my laser light. So because I'm using twin needles and I'm stitching a wavy stitch, the general tendency is as we're sewing, we want to look at our needles, where our needles are going into our fabric. But when I have this laser light that beams out all the way up here, I can actually center it on my marking, which in this case is a friction pen that I use to create my 2-inch grid. I can actually line it up so what I'm looking at is my line and keeping my laser light straight on my line. And I'm not having to look at my needles at all. I know this is something really new, which of course is one of the reasons why we love these machines, because of these new features. So it might take you a project or so to get used to using this laser light, but I can tell you that quilters love this feature, because if you like to stitch in the ditch, you can lay your line right out in the ditch. If you like to do an accurate 1/4 inch, you can actually move your laser light to the left or to the right and position it along the edge of your fabric if you want. The other thing that we do, or I do, and I like to do when sewing a project like this, is I tend to be very heavy-footed with my foot and my foot control. I tend to press all the way down. So I like to put my speed control that's on the front of the machine at a medium speed. When you set that at a medium speed, you will be more successful and your stitching will be more consistent. So I can actually put my foot all the way down on my foot control, but my machine is keeping my stitching under control. You can also see that I have batting underneath my fabric here. So when I'm done with my project, I've also tightened my tension, my bobbin tension, so the effect that you get is a raised, very, very pretty, almost 3-dimensional stitch line, which people will ask you or wonder, how on earth did you create that? Okay, now I have my project in my 9x14 hoop, which is the largest hoop that comes with the machine. Lots of area to work on and to be creative. You can see that in 3 of my blocks, I've already created some little stippled areas in different sizes. This is my largest, this is a medium, and this is a small. So I can actually adjust the sizing of my stippling or customize the sizing to fit and be proportionate to my project. That's something that I love. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and slide my hoop in very easily. You just slide it in and pull the lock down, lock it in. And now I'm going to come to my design center. I'm just going to go ahead and touch it, and I'm going to do touch scan, scan. Frame will move, okay. So now the machine jumps into action. As you can see, it went up to the top left corner. It's now traveling down. Near the needle area, on top of the needle area, there's a camera built in there. So as it travels down, it's taking pictures. Right now it's taking pictures of what is in my hoop. And when it travels back, it just travels back to start all over again to travel back down. Okay, now I have my scan up on my screen, so now I'm going to work up on the screen. So I'm going to come in here into my shapes, and these are built-in shapes that come in the machine. And I'm going to just select a square, and I'm going to say OK. I'm going to select size, and I'm going to size it down. I want to size it down so that it'll fit in my diamond shape, and I know that that needs to be approximately 1.5 inches. I have different options of how I can size, but I am sizing down proportionately. I'm going to bring it down here, almost there. It's very precise. Okay, I have it at 1.5, so now I'm going to say OK. And now I'm going to go into my rotate, and I'm going to rotate it because I have a square and I really want it in more of a diamond shape. And then with these little arrows, I can move it up into the center. You all can see. I'll just move it in there. Okay. And I'm going to say OK. Now I'm going to come into my settings, and I'm going to select stippling. I'm going to select a nice bright color. Actually, red is already selected, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it. And then I'm going to come here to my little, what I call a paint cup, and I am going to go ahead and just touch that, and you can see that the stippling appeared inside my square. Now I'm going to say next. And this is where I can adjust or customize the size of my stippling. It looks a little bit large in that square, so I'm going to come in here and I'm going to bring it down to 0.04, which is my smallest, and I'm going to set it. And then I'm going to come into my other stippling setting. The first one was a run pitch, and now I'm going to bring my spacing down as close as I can, and I'm going to set that. Now when I select preview and OK, I'm going to see my finished little stipple, and as you can see, it sized it down considerably, and I like that. So I'm going to go ahead and set it, and it gives me a message here. Basically it says you're leaving this design center, and now I'm entered the embroidery part of the machine. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do another quick camera scan, and you'll see that my scan reappears up on my screen, and I'm going to be able to double check that my little stippling square is going to be where I want it. I don't have to think about size anymore, proportion, or placing. All the work I do is done on my screen. So really this machine, with these features that I'm showing you, takes the work out of what normally is work, which is the sizing and positioning of a design where you want it. We're almost done. We've traveled back to the center. So now you can see I've got my scan back on my screen. Now if I wanted to move it again, I could move it. I've got different editing features. If I wanted to move it and put it over here, I could. And maybe I'll leave it there. You see, and now if I want to embroider that, I just touch embroidery, it moves into position. I put my presser foot down and I press start. Okay, I hope that you enjoyed this little sneak peek of one of our multiple 6-hour classes that you get when you purchase a Dream or a Destiny from us. Remember that this will turn into this. This is a 4 to 6 hour class to get this finished project. So you'll be learning a lot more techniques than what I just showed you. If you're interested in a demo on these wonderful machines, come by and see us in the machine department and ask for one of our educators or instructors. Thanks for listening.